So guys, a significant development has just taken place in the West Asia war. Something that no one had anticipated. In a show of strength, Iran fired 2 missiles at the joint US-UK military base located in Diego Garcia. These missiles did not cause any damage to the Diego Garcia base, as one missile malfunctioned mid-air and failed, and the other missile was intercepted by a US warship. So tactically, this strike by Iran was not successful. However, despite this, Iran has demonstrated its capability. Iran's public claim was that it had limited the range of its missiles to 2,000 kilometers. But clearly this is not true, because the Diego Garcia base, which is approximately 4,000 kilometers away from Iran, was targeted with ballistic missiles. By doing this, Iran has proven that it possesses undeclared long-range technology. This is a matter of concern for European countries, especially for those countries that are allowing the United States to use their bases to attack Iran, because after this they will become legitimate targets for Iran. So even though no damage was caused by the missiles fired at Diego Garcia and they were successfully intercepted, the attack has delivered the intended message. A warning has been given to European countries that Iran may possess long-range missiles with a range of 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers. With the help of these, Iran can carry out deep strikes in Europe. The United Kingdom, which is approximately 4,400 kilometers away from Iran, could also see its bases become targets. Therefore, the UK should be cautious because it is allowing the US to park its bombers at its bases. Initially, the UK was hesitant to do so, but later it allowed the United States to use its bases. And now, the US is using UK bases to attack Iran. Because of this, the UK has now also become a legitimate target for Iran. At this moment, no one knows what kind of technology Iran possesses. The level of retaliation that Iran is showing in this war was not expected by anyone. The US and other countries around the world are shocked. It is clear that Iran possesses many hidden technologies. By launching missiles at Diego Garcia, Iran has proven that UK bases can also fall within its extended strike envelope. So far in the 20-day-long war, Iran's focus has mostly been regional. It has focused on Gulf countries. Iran has targeted the military bases and civilian infrastructure of those countries that are being used by the United States to attack Iran. But by firing missiles at Diego Garcia, Iran has shown that it is also capable of carrying out long-range attacks. In a way, this is a signal of how quickly Iran can expand its future capabilities. Especially now that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is no longer there, who used to advocate limiting Iran's missile range to 2,000 kilometers. He has been replaced by his son Mojtaba Khamenei, who is more assertive. Additionally, Iran has now deployed its Mosaic strategy. Under this strategy, even if top leaders are eliminated, the system will continue to function. In this way, power has been decentralized. Iran has divided its military into many small and semi-independent units. These units will continue to sustain the fight on their own. Power has now been placed in their hands. Therefore, they can expand capabilities very quickly. Now, there is not just one large command center. There are multiple command layers. Local military leaders have autonomy. So even if Iran's top leadership is eliminated, local leaders will continue to respond. They will continue to retaliate. Local commanders have been pre-authorized to carry out attacks. They do not need constant instructions from Tehran. Even if the new supreme leader is eliminated, if the top leadership is decapitated, and even if communication breaks down, these local leaders will continue their operations. Independent decision-making has been enabled. In this way, Iran's military structure has been geographically fragmented. Iran's defense has been divided into regional zones. Each zone has its own command, its own resources, and its own targets. So it can be understood that Israel and the US are not fighting a single centralized army, but many mini-armies. These mini-armies possess hidden infrastructure, underground tunnels, undeclared technologies, full autonomy, tunnel networks, and mobile launch systems. This is a system designed to survive airstrikes. In the 20-day-long war, Iran has proven that its retaliation capability remains intact. This is despite claims that its capabilities have been degraded by 100%. Iran has demonstrated that its ability to retaliate is still intact. Iran is using asymmetric warfare tactics. It clearly understands that it cannot win against the United States in conventional warfare, and that is not its objective. Iran's goal is not to win in conventional warfare. Its objective is to avoid losing, to prolong the war, and to increase the costs for the United States. And so far, we have only discussed the internal mosaic. Iran's mosaic strategy also includes an external mosaic. Iran can activate its proxy network. It can extend its strategy beyond its borders. Militias in Iraq and Syria can be used. Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen can also be used. So Iran has the capability to retaliate from multiple directions. The country has already prepared response scenarios. If leadership is attacked, then escalate in the region. If one base is attacked, then target another base. That is why the current strategy of the United States and Israel, which involves decapitating Iran's leadership, targeting command centers, and attempting to break down communication, is not working. Iran is still not collapsing. Iran's mosaic strategy neutralizes this approach. Even after the elimination of top leadership and senior generals, and even after disruptions in communication, Iran's system has not collapsed. This is how Iran has designed its strategy. Losing leaders does not mean losing war capability. That is why Iran is a formidable adversary. A quick victory against it is not possible. Iran has turned this war into a long-term attrition game. It is clearly sending a message that you may hit us and we'll absorb those attacks. You cannot stop us. This is complicating the strategy of Israel and the US. There is no single center of gravity that they can destroy. Iran has simultaneously opened multiple fronts. Iran's mosaic strategy is not about winning quickly. It is about not losing and not collapsing. It is about absorbing heavy losses and continuing retaliation. The system has been designed in such a way that it can absorb damage, reorganize, and keep fighting. Diego Garcia, which is a key military hub of the United States and the United Kingdom in the Indian Ocean, which is used to park long-range bombers for submarine operations and for surveillance in the Middle East, which is also called America's unsinkable aircraft carrier, which is considered a powerful launchpad for American military operations in Asia and the Middle East. Iran launched missiles at this location. It stretched the battlefield. Iran demonstrated that its known missile range, which was believed to be between 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers, could extend to 4,000 kilometers. One missile malfunctioned mid-air and failed. This may indicate that Iran could be developing new long-range missiles. It could be modifying existing missiles. It could be experimenting to expand its capabilities. No one knows for sure. But Iran is sending a clear message that it can strike beyond the Middle East. This represents horizontal escalation in the war. The conflict is no longer limited to Israel and the Gulf. It has now reached the Indian Ocean. The regional war is turning into a wider strategic conflict zone. Iran knew very well that hitting Diego Garcia would be extremely difficult. The US has strong missile defense systems there. But this attack was not carried out for destruction. It was carried out for signaling. The purpose of Iran's attack was not to cause damage, but to send a geopolitical message. And in that, Iran has succeeded. It has demonstrated its reach, capability, and intent. This creates pressure on the United States, Israel, and European countries. The message is that American bases are no longer safe zones. Even remote bases can now become potential targets. Allies of the US in the Gulf and Europe have received a clear message that if they host American bases, they can become legitimate targets. Iran has shown how quickly it can extend its range and project power beyond its borders. So even if the missile did not hit Diego Garcia, Iran's message certainly landed. Even if the long-range missile attack failed, the delivery of its message was successful. Two intermediate ballistic missiles, likely Khorramshahr 4, went beyond the range that Israel and the United States had imagined. This highlights that even a remote base like Diego Garcia can be vulnerable, and that Iran has both the intent and the capability to neutralize potential threats.